I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. This is Friday, and if it's Friday, that means it's Nick Day. DJ Nick has been dominating Fridays as the undisputed
DJ
extraordinaire.
All right, so tonight he is introducing us to Warren Zevon.
There it is up there.
Yep.
Warren Zevon.
Oh, Zevon. Okay. This is what DJ Nick. We have DJ Nick here, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
He's right here.
I assumed you wouldn't have hit the start button without him, but just making sure. Okay. Intro. For this stream, I'd like to introduce you guys to a great singer-songwriter named Warren Zevon. Wait, is that how you said it?
I said Warren Zevon. How
Warren
can we know?
broke off
Zevon. As Dwayne says. I think he was in the Beatles.
Oh,
at some
that's
point,
right.
This guy, Warren Zevon.
I was wondering.
Zevon.
Warren broke onto the scene in the mid-70s with his self-titled debut in 1976 and its follow-up in 1978's Excitable Boy, with both albums doing very well in the charts and Excitable Boy going platinum. He released 4 albums in the 80s with minor to very little success. And 2 albums in the 90s to no success at all, before return to form within the early 2000s with 3 more successful albums. Zevon is known for his dry wit and Arabic. Arabic. No, I'm sorry. My mind just read that differently.
Acerbic lyrics.
Sorry. When it comes to his songwriting, often combining dark humor with poppy melodies.
There's a song that mentions Muhammad, so I was like, wait a second.
Oh. After I got introduced to his music, I couldn't get enough of it. His music is unnerving yet catchy, melancholy yet romantic, weird yet insightful, and it is why he is still one of my favorite performers to this day. Okay, that's not working.
Okay, here we go, guys. Wait, what's occurring?
Well, I tried to use the fan instead of using the air conditioner.
Dwayne has the
Doing
vinyl.
my part.
Dwayne has the vinyl. Shout out to Daniel Santiago. Okay, guys, here we go. Song numero uno is Excitable Boy is the name of this song. Let's do it. Warren Zevon. All night, ladies and gents.
over his chest. Excitable boy, they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy. He took in the 4 a.m. show at the Clark. Excitable boy, they all said. And he bit the usherette's leg in the dark. Excitable boy, they all said. Well, he's just an excitable boy. Took little Susie to the junior prom. Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. And he raped her and killed her, then he took her home. Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. Well, he's just an excitable boy. After 10 long years, they let him out of the home. Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. And he dug up her grave and built a cage with her bones. Excitable boy, they all said. Excitable boy. Well, he's just an excitable boy.
Okay, so there's something to read after this song, or after every song after this song?
No, he wants them read before each song, like what we did with this one. He just wants it before. He's just
Okay.
reminding us to read before each song starts, which we already did for this one.
You know, when we first started doing this, we didn't understand the thumbnail game, and we were doing reactions, like we always do. And so, I would look at our thumbnails versus everybody else's thumbnails, and I began to figure it out. Like, oh, you're so surprised, like you're caught off guard, whatever. And obviously in the first year, we were really caught off guard by a lot of things, especially when we were listening to like black metal and and after a while, I kind of prided myself in the fact that we have very little thumbnails that have that surprise face, because we've gotten a lot better at, assuming where people are going to come from. But this one definitely warranted one of those surprise face thumbnails, because I was looking at this song like, okay, this is like harkening back to some bygone era. It was kind of bland and vanilla. I was like, what is Nick doing? I thought to myself, like, okay, at some point it's gonna like transition to some crazy metal thing that we've never heard before. But then the entire time there was a landmine in the entire song that we stepped on like right toward the middle, and I said, holy shit. I mean, it legitimately knocked the wind out of me for a second.
I thought I heard it wrong. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
wait, and I looked over there to see the lyrics, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's getting like really horrible. I mean, at the end, he digs her up and builds a cage with her bones, subhanAllah. I mean,
Okay.
it just gets sicker and sicker and sicker.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear that part until you just said it now. Ugh. Okay. Well, I will say that there was this these people that I was babysitting for, and they had a son, and anytime that the son did something, they would say, oh, well, he's only whatever. Like the age. He's only 3.
Yeah.
Then he's only 6. Then he's only 9. And I remember thinking, not really thinking a whole lot of it, but then hearing some other adults talking about it, because they could see that the kid was not headed in a good direction. They should have talked to the parent, but I guess they decided to gossip instead. And I overheard them, and they were like, you know what? That's what they keep saying, and they're going to keep saying that he's only 16, he's only 20. Well, now he's only in jail.
Right.
And this to me is that, like, they keep saying he's an excitable boy instead of dealing with the actual issues, maybe as they were seeing them, just saying, well, he's just excitable, you know, and overlooking obvious things like...
Yeah, but I mean, he rubbed the pot roast all over his chest.
Yeah, that's gross. But, yeah, is there anything, like, necessarily wrong?
Like,
that's what they said here, but I mean, wouldn't that be odd if you had a kid that was capable of raping and murdering and you didn't know it until they did it? Don't you think that's odd?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always feel like that's unfair. Like,
what's
the
unfair?
kid becomes a school shooter, everybody blames their parents. Like, I'm not sure that that's true 100% of the time.
I don't think it is.
Like for example, we were having a conversation yesterday, Nazis came up, and I made the statement, the only difference between Orion and Hitler is grace and opportunity.
Right.
Meaning, God's given more grace to Orion to curb his murderous desires, and Orion doesn't have the same opportunities to exercise those desires that Hitler did. So, like, there is room for, because there's certain taboos, like, for example, if your kid, you know, if you go to tuck him in at night and he's got like 5 candy bars under his pillow, you don't think to yourself, one day my kid is going to strap up a gun and rob a bank. Like, you don't make that leap.
No.
You go, you definitely should not be stealing candy, bro. And, like, you handle it as a parent, but you don't make that leap like, oh, he's going to go from that to, like, really violent crime. I mean, what's the correlation between rubbing a pot roast all over your chest and brutally raping and murdering someone? Those aren't even in the same... it'd be one thing, like, if you drown the family pet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of behavior,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like, you definitely should have gotten, some serious, a medical professional to look at your kid. I mean, definitely if he's rubbing pot roast all over himself as he's dressed in his Sunday best.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's odd behavior.
He's odd and he's crying out for help. But I don't think any parent would make that leap. So, I mean, Orion bites his brother. I mean, they go back and forth.
Yeah, but I feel like that... I mean, he took in the 4 a.m. show at the Clark. I mean, how are you going to take a 4 a.m. show unless you're older?
I don't understand what you mean.
That's 4 o'clock in the morning. If it was Orion, he'd be in bed. I'm saying,
by
this age, he bit the usherette's leg in the dark. At that age...
At what age?
Old enough to where you would be watching a 4 a.m. show.
Well, that doesn't mean he was old enough. It just means he went to do it. I mean, how old is old enough in your mind?
Well, I don't think his parents took him. It didn't say he went with his parents. He took in the 4 a.m. show at the Clark.
Yeah, again, like, biting somebody's leg. Again, like, would you make the leap? Oh, he bit somebody's leg. That means he's going to kidnap, rape, and murder somebody?
No, but I would definitely say there was something Johann is 13, and he's not really old enough to go to a 4 a.m. show by himself, but let's just say he did.
He bit the
usherette's leg.
Actually, usherette, right?
It's
so
a
that
woman.
would be a woman, a female usher.
Yeah.
He bit the usherette's leg in the dark. Yeah, I mean, I would not make a correlation, but like if he was feeling her up or something like that, you'd be like, yo, there's a danger here. Like, this kid doesn't know how to control himself around females. But if your theory is right and he's a teenager and all he can do with a woman's leg is bite it, that would be I wouldn't think, nobody would say, yep, that kid's going to be a rapist and a murderer.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying these are all like kind of like odd signs. Like,
well, no, they're odd from the beginning. What I'm saying is, how can you tell the parents you should have known your child was going to rape and murder somebody?
Oh, because
that's crazy to me.
Because of the response, excitable boy, they all said. I'm not saying that they should know that that's where he's going to go with it. I'm just saying them saying excitable boy to me sounds like, when people will say boys will be boys when the boy is doing something that's wrong.
I think all parents do that.
You don't.
No, I don't. But as you always say, you're like that. You're absolutely like that.
I know. I had the hardest time, like... not giving Orion ice cream after he threw that sand at his brother.
Yeah, I just think like,
I was like, I gotta.
and you know what? For the most part, especially your mom, your parents should be like that. Your parents should not look at your strange behavior and say, "Oh, that's good. That you're gonna be a rapist and a murderer and a school shooter."
Well, yeah.
Like your parents, your folks should be the ones that are always in your corner. And
hey, look,
there's a big difference.
Rammstein is playing at the Gillette Stadium.
That's fine.
Oh,
there's a big difference between what I would say about and to my kids in public versus what I would say about and to my kids in private. So like,
I know, yeah.
If my kid was doing something that was sending off psychological signals where I'm like, yo, something's really wrong with that kid, I would never articulate that publicly. So if somebody brought this to me, I'd be like, yeah, you know, he's an excitable boy. But when I got home, we would be talking, we'd be calling medical professionals, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go out in the public and give the public anything about my kid if there's something really happening. But at home, that's a different story. You know, to the doctor, that's a different story. But it looks to me like, to your point, they just stopped at he's an excitable boy and didn't do any follow-up on it. And again, you know, like, I get it.
Well, it's weird, though, because even after the craziness, they still kept saying that.
What do you mean?
He took little Susie to the junior prom. Excitable boy, they all said. He raped her and killed her, then he took her home. Excitable boy, they all said. They're still saying the same thing after all that?
Right, and that's the problem, is that, you know, that's...
Well, he's just an excitable boy.
And that's where I think... That's where obviously it diverges, because you're not like that. You wouldn't do that. If he came home with a dead body or whatever, that would not be the reaction that you would get.
No.
But I do know, I mean, we know people, that are like that. You know, I know a woman right now.
No, they don't. No, they say excitable girl.
Yeah. They would blame the girl.
Not all on the girl.
Yeah, they would blame the girl. They'd say that the girl got the dude ginned up, and you know, sometimes people just like lose control of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what happens, and yada yada yada. Yeah, you're right. There's people that are worse like this. They're worse than this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it's crazy. It's such a crazy. It's a really challenging thing to be a parent, though. But I you know, it's interesting because it doesn't necessarily say that it's his parents saying this stuff. It said they all said excitable boy.
You just assume that it's the parents, because why would the community say that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I think he's making social commentary though as well, because it's they all said they all. It's always they all.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
We're watching that Woodstock thing, and it was about,
Jeez.
The girls were crowd surfing, girls were getting assaulted in Woodstock, and they had these pictures of this girl on top of the, crowd surfing or whatever, and they were just completely, violating this woman. And Ananda said something really interesting. She said, people could say what they want about the Me Too movement or whatever, the abuses or the extremities that it got taken to. But she's like, I'm glad that we have that we had that moment, because I'm glad that dudes are nervous to talk to girls at work. Like, I've never been nervous to talk to girls at work. I've had, females spend hours and hours in the office. I've driven them home. Like, I've never had a problem. I've never been afraid. I've never, whatever. But that was because I was married very young and I had a kid very young, and that job was the only lifeline I had to support both of them. So I wasn't even thinking about them. And, thankfully I look back now and I look at that as a big accomplishment, that I had generated such credibility in the area that nobody could even try to even think to accuse me of that. But anyway, she was saying, like, in the 90s, when that shit was happening to us, I mean, this girl was getting groped, completely violated. I almost felt like I was violating her watching it, but I thought to myself, she probably cleared that so that other people wouldn't have to go through that, so that there could be a record of it. I don't know. Most people don't realize this, but when you're in a public place, like, you have no expectation of privacy. you know. So people can take pictures of you, videos of you, whether you want to or not, for the most part. But anyway, there's certain states and situations that are the exception.
It was so frustrating too, because it was like, if there's a girl that she's just surfing by and you get like one pinch, like how much is that really going to give you, one pinch? But how much is that going to affect her for her life, that was happening to her all through that crowd? And you don't even know that she chose to crowd surf either, because somebody could have just picked her up and tossed her up there.
Yeah, I mean, in a rock show, you know,
the place was out of control, though. Yes, I know that's generally.
But like, no matter how, whether she wanted to or not, like it's just an unwritten rule that you don't do that shit. I mean, obviously, if your whole body's there, then your glutes are gonna get touched. Everybody understands that, whether you're a girl or a guy. But just enough to move you along, not to freaking, whatever. But she was saying, like, look, man, that shit happened in the 90s. You were just told to accept it. You were just told to accept it, expect it, call the guy a pig and move on. But that, you were just supposed to accept that. But now people, people are afraid to do that. And, you see a lot of dudes, like, reacting like, I can't even talk to a girl at work anymore, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I never had that concern. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if you're exercised, now, granted, I understand. I felt like the Me Too thing was weaponized, especially in the political sphere. I'm not going to relitigate that. And obviously, as a black person in America, Emmett Till's false accuser, which got him murdered, the DA just said they're not going to indict her. They're just going to let it go. So I understand the whole false accusation side of things, whatever. But I do think it's significant when it's they all said, because that to me says it's a societal thing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be they all in the literal sense, but in the overwhelming sense. This is actually interesting, though. Zevon actually did the pot roast thing as a kid. He got diagnosed with OCD.
That's interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
He got OCD and
obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah, I know, and that made him. Usually, that makes people not want to get dirty. That's interesting. Wow.
I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a line between this guy's odd, this guy's strange. Maybe he's an artistic genius like this guy, or maybe he's the type of dude that could rape and kill somebody. And if you're a mom, which one are you going to assume? You're going to assume that your little boy's just misunderstood and that he's more likely to be a genius than a rapist and a murderer. So, like, things like the pot roast thing, like, I'm good. The 4 a.m. show, I'm good. I'm good with, like, a parent overlooking that. But to your point, you're 14, 15 years old, biting people in the leg. Like, that's weird. Like, that's something where it's like, yo, we need to have a discussion now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then, there really wasn't much time between the biting of the leg and the raping and the murdering. I don't know. And the other thing is, like, he got Susie to the prom, which means he wasn't always doing weird shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't always biting people and rubbing pot roast on his head. Like, obviously, he was normal enough to where Susie would trust him to be alone with him. You see what I'm saying? So it's not as simple. I think that's one of the reasons why anytime one of these kids goes off and does something, like, we really want to crucify the parents, because we want to convince ourselves that if our kid was the type of person that would do that type of crime, that the signs would be obvious. So it's like a psychological thing where we're trying to control the situation because it looks so random. So we want to be able to say, oh, this was obvious. And if they would have been attentive parents, this wouldn't have happened. So that you could tell yourself, well, I'm going to be an attentive parent, so my kid will never do such a thing. Or to say, well, look, the violence isn't as random as it looked. It was just parental negligence. So if we just spread the message of parental, focus, then this won't happen in our school. So we keep, a lot of times when we blame the parents for this stuff, it's a psychological means of us to try to de-randomize the violence. Because if the violence is random, then it could happen to you any day of the week.
Yeah. Nick said, a great book about him is I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, The Dirty Life and Times of Warren Zevon by his ex-wife.
Whew.
That's be alarming. Yeah, and, I was talking to this person that she had been around someone that had gotten raped, and when she was around that person, she did the same things that everybody always asks. What were you wearing? Where were you? And sometimes people are doing that because they want to blame the victim. And, well, I mean, that even still, even when she was asking those questions, it was kind of that. But what she was looking for was, oh, you were over there at 1 a.m.? Well, I would never be out at 1 a.m. Oh, you were wearing a tight bodysuit? Oh, I would never wear that. All these different things so that way she could figure out why it would never happen to her. But when somebody reacts like that to somebody who's been a victim of that level of trauma, it's such a cold way to respond because all you're thinking about is yourself. And the victim just gets run over again just so that way you can psychologically protect yourself from what could possibly happen. It's just, so that kind of reminded me of that same thing.
Eric says, I'm 50 years old. Back in the 7th grade, I'd see boys smacking the girls in the behind and grabbing their behinds. And back then, nobody thought anything of it. Different time. Yeah. So when did this song come out?
I gotta bring it up on Genius to know. Ooh, that makes me so sick.
What makes you sick? Our
Just that
society?
stuff happening, yeah.
1978, subhanAllah. 1978. So think about that. 1978. So that's around Eric's time, basically.
Wow.
And, a lot of it is what you teach your sons. That's why, I'm the way that I am with my boys. And, sometimes it's like, yo, that's too harsh. You should have said that to them, blah, blah, blah. There was an altercation yesterday, because homeboy, one of them is dealing with birth mom. And, obviously there's history there. But the boys get held to a certain type of standard. And it's because I don't care what the excuse is. Like, we're always going to engage women as respectfully as we can, and there's lines that we're not going to cross ever as men. Period. End of story. And it doesn't look nice while the conversations are happening, but, I will die before I send a boy into the world that's going to be that kind of person. And not being that kind of person is not good enough. Like, we got to be the type of people that see that shit happening and put a stop to it. Like, that's the standard.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So, like I said, obviously there are obviously pitfalls with the Me Too movement, obviously. And I'm not naive to that, but I also think the accumulated effect of making people think twice before they do things, say things, operate with the idea that they're entitled to, people's bodies is a strange thing.
Yeah, Ian says, sorry, that's really smart actually, even if it's selfish. It's like observable learning for women to ask rape victims what happened to them so they can avoid those situations. I agree with that element of it, but it depends on what they follow it up by. So if they're like, well, I mean, you shouldn't have been there. Oh, you shouldn't have, and then they start blaming the victim after getting that information instead of saying, I'm so sorry, that should have never happened. It doesn't matter what you were wearing, where you were. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you or to do anything to you. Blah, 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 blah. But if the person then goes on to blame the victim, then it's not just observable learning, but it's cruel and selfish.
9.2. Very good twist there.
I'm silent counting this one. The topic is just too much. Especially with the Woodstock information. It's just too much.
Yeah,
too much.
That was pretty crazy. If you want to talk about the bastardization of art, male privilege, white privilege, I mean,
I know.
Holy shit. All the destruction them boys did, they got away with murder. But at the same time, the interface of capitalism, it's just too much. Drug culture, there's just a lot of... That could have been a 15-part series if they really wanted to, like, really
Nobody
dig
got
into
killed, though.
A couple people died. One of them died of heat stroke, I think it was.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that the crowd didn't start murdering. Like, the crowd was getting so out of control.
Yeah.
And, like, Lord of the Flies, that I was very surprised that they didn't start killing people.
Yeah. It was definitely.
It was like the friggin' purge out there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Whew. Let's, now that we know what type of man we're dealing with, let's go into song number 2.
Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Go home. Holy shit, this guy.
Hey, babe, on the commercial, can you put one of those waters in? I don't have any more water.
All right.
Thank you.
Shall return, commercial break, bitches. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. The child shall lead them. To buy our merch. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Buy our merch. So, Nick. My kids, we've been teaching them to share their toys with all the kids around, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out somebody said they could not share their toys with my kids. I was very disappointed because my little kids wanted to play on the scooters that they had. And as they were playing with my kids' toys, they were saying we couldn't use theirs, which I thought was kind of weird. And I wasn't, the mama bear in me was like, so I went on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, DJ Nick is coming through with a stream, so I'll just buy some scooters. So I was able to find 2 scooters for $10 a piece. So thank you, Nick.
Oh,
my children, thank you.
You went out and you bought
Yes,
them?
I did. And I didn't consult you because I knew exactly what you were going to say. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to agree to disagree on this one. I know that you think that that's a... And it was so funny because, I knew exactly what your reaction would be. And when I told the story to my dad, he was like, good for you going out there to buy them those. And I was laughing because I was like, you guys are so different. Because I knew you were going to be like, as if.
Unbelievable.
It's good for their coordination.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about.
Let's teach the kids that there's nothing they can't have.
No, they had to learn the lesson.
And that if they share their toys, other people are obligated with them to share theirs. Because that's why we share, to put people in our debt. Holy shit.
No, I just thought that it wasn't very nice to be using up all his toys, and he was the youngest one there. They're using up all of his toys, wouldn't let him use theirs.
So we had to go buy one. Unbelievable.
Babe, it cost $20 for 2
That's why
scooters.
he was talking to me about the scooters. I was like, yeah, son, whatever.
He was very happy about them.
I bet he was. I bet he was. He wants for nothing.
That's not true. He wanted an ice cream. I wouldn't give him an ice cream. Okay, all right. All right, so thank you for that, Nick. Okay, Warren's Zevon stream from the big homie Nick is going on tonight. The next song on the list is Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Lawyers, Guns,
A
and
song
money.
that plays out like an action spy thriller that is worthy of a film adaptation, like many of Mr. Zevon's songs.
All right. Lawyers, Guns, and Money with lyrics. Let's do it. Warren Zevon.
Surprised you didn't say, "We'll be the judge of that."
We'll be the judge of that. Shout out to big homie Delaney. Let's go.
The way I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too?
Russia again!
I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Dad, get me out of this. Ha! I'm the innocent bystander. Somehow I got stuck between the rock and the hard place, and I'm down on my luck. Yes, I'm down on my luck. Well, I'm down on my luck. I'm hiding in Honduras. I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan. Guns and money. Send lawyers, guns and money. Send lawyers, guns and money.
It's on the same record.
Hey! Guns and money. Oh! Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is on the Excitable Boy record. Came out September 10th.
So, I don't usually do this, but I have to read this. This is so interesting. Zevon told a story about how he came to write the song. He said he was in Cuba with his manager, and they were in a taxi. As they rode along, the driver said, "I gotta make a quick stop." He pulled into a house. A few minutes later, he comes running out with his sister, who had apparently been kidnapped.
What?
They jumped in the front seat of the taxi and took off while being chased by the kidnappers. From the back seat, Warren's manager deadpanned, "Call my dad and tell him to send some lawyers," Warren replied. "Yeah, it's some guns and money." That's Warren's story, and I'm afraid at this point he's gonna have to stick with it.
That can't be a real life story.
Why not?
Because if that's what really happened, why not make that into the song? That's a much more exciting song than this one. He went home with a waitress and she was secretly working for the Russians. Like, isn't this a better song? Like,
yeah, I agree.
We gotta rescue my daughter, make him shoot, and then, you get
Yeah.
a big old Wild West shootout. What the hell?
Call my dad and tell him to send some lawyers.
Shout out
Man,
to
those people
Clarissa
must
H.
be rich. Send some lawyers?
Send some lawyers.
Like, not just one, but like send some?
I mean, he's a big rock star, man. Make that shit happen,
No,
bro.
Warren's manager. What's deadpan
We
mean?
we still got it's just like joke, like dead ass serious, but you're trolling the whole time.
Okay.
I went home with the righteous the way I always do. So this is funny because, like, you know, we could continue the mythology that this is the same guy from song 1.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, word, you always go home with the waitress? Are you biting her? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Was
I
that
went home with
before
the
or
waitress.
after you?
Well, look, if you look at this from a Jungian perspective, like, he is that guy. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know, yeah.
Because he included some of his own peculiarities in the record, and if he was in his 20s in the 1970s, that means he was born in the 50s. So he probably was very familiar with that kind of treatment of women.
Wow.
Anyway. But okay, so he went home with the waitress the way he always does. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we did not have this system, if we didn't have DJs and shit like that, we would have never heard of this guy ever.
I know.
And it's so funny to me that, like, there's people like this on the planet that I never knew about, but their shit was, like, right there for the taking. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we don't know things is very, it's such a fascinating mystery to me. Like, the fact that, like, what does it mean to not know something? It's not even black. It's, like, actual, like, that's the only real nothingness there is lacking knowledge of something. Because if you try to picture being ignorant of something, there's no picture that comes up. I didn't know this guy existed till, and then boom, like he's now.
Wait, did you say there's no picture for ignorant?
Yeah, there's no picture for lacking knowledge of something.
I have a picture.
No, I'm talking. No. You only have the effect. You
You
have the after effect. Of
yes, I know,
ignorance.
babe. Yes, on a technical
you don't
level,
have
yes.
ignorance
But
itself.
what I picture is very funny.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really picture lacking knowledge.
Yes, on a technical level, I agree with you. I understand.
I went home with the
on a
waitress
funny
the way
level,
I always
though.
do. How was I to know? She was with the Russians too.
Anytime that Vinny's in a debate with somebody and he on a technical level says that they're ignorant, he means they're lacking knowledge. But nobody takes
I
it
don't know what
like
you mean by technical level.
nobody hears you're ignorant and takes that as what he's saying right now is I'm lacking knowledge. It's an insult.
I am somebody. That's how I would take it. I'd say, oh, well, then what do
yeah,
I not
you
know?
take a poll. I'm gonna put up a poll and let the people.
Either you know the thing or you don't know the thing. That's not an insult. Unless you're claiming that you're God and you know everything. How can that be an insult?
Because people go by how words affect them.
I think you're projecting yourself.
No,
on
because
other
I see
people.
people's faces when you say it, and then they get.
You would be offended if I said you were ignorant about something.
You do say it, and when you say it, I translate it in my head. I'm like, he just means I'm lacking knowledge on this topic.
Okay,
He's
so
right. I am lacking knowledge.
Okay, so how do you tell somebody you're lacking knowledge on the topic without insulting them in your view?
Well, if you said, look, you lack the knowledge on this topic, that would be different. But when you say you're ignorant, people take that as an insult. See, look, River, ignorant does sound like an insult, Vin. Delaney, Sori is right. People, I'm telling you, just regular people don't
I'm a regular
translate.
person. I'm a regular person.
No, babe. The way that you have the English language in your head and knowing the definition of stuff and knowing the Latin of where something came from, that's not regular. That's not how regular people operate. When somebody, I'm going to put up a poll right now. Where's my poll? Create a poll. If you are called ignorant, do you feel
I just don't. I don't see the logical connection. If all of us concede that we're not God Almighty, that means we're saying that there's literally trillions of pieces of data that we don't know. Like literally trillions. If I was to quantify it. So how can anybody be upset at saying, like, honestly, if you think about what we know versus what there is to know, knowledge is the exception. Ignorance is the rule.
Honey, I understand that. Okay, if you're called ignorant, do you feel it's an insult? Over and against thinking...
It just means that you're not God. That's what it means.
Yes, but people don't say, he's saying, I'm not like God. They're saying, you called me ignorant? You insulted me.
No, because as I said, ignorance is a default setting for every being that's not a divine being. There's literally trillions of pieces of data
Lem,
that we
Sori
do
is
not
right.
know.
The word is extra spicy. Nobody has sided with you. Vin, you are too smart, LOL. Delaney.
Can we just get back to the song
This
review?
this is what happens.
This is again another logical fallacy. This is called argumentum ad populum, and it's basically trying to validate your perspective by how many people agree with you. But even you as a Christian, you believe that only 8 people survived the flood.
Babe.
So like if you went out there and said, "All right, guys, how many of you agree with me that Noah's a moron?" Then you'd win that
No,
debate too.
because
You'd be dead.
no, babe,
Look,
because
look,
what's
you look
happening?
past the wall,
Stop
it's right
it!
over your head.
No,
Can we
what's
get back to the
happening?
song?
Fine,
Holy,
fine.
Go ahead. Tell me what's happening.
I already explained it to you. What's happening is we're all regular people, and you are not. You're extra smart. You know, you have a lot of knowledge. And so when you say ignorant, you mean it in a technical sense, but people don't take it that way. I see their faces in the
Go
debate.
back to the song. So
He went
running
home with
from
a
the
waitress.
Russians. He was gambling in Havana, Cuba. I took a little risk. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Get me out of this. Ha!
Dad, get me out of this.
I'm the innocent bystander. Somehow I got stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm down on my luck. Yes, I'm down on my luck. Well, I'm down on my luck, and I'm hiding in Honduras. I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. Lyrically, this song is a little bit thin. Like I said, I wish he would have told us the real story. That's a much funner song.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It was a funny story.
Right?
You do some shit like that. Hold on, I gotta make a stop. You wouldn't even tell the people what you were doing. Go grab your sister and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that it does feel like this song made me think. I bet it would be interesting to listen to one of his full albums, like just
We're
one song
basically
after the other.
listening to a full album.
Because it
This
kind of
song
has that
like-
feel, but it's
Yeah, but then you have to ask yourself, why do you keep getting... Oh, so he's in Havana, Cuba, which I understand why he would get in trouble with American law enforcement, because especially still in the 70s, Cuba was no way. But we also had some issues in Honduras. Actually, in the early 80s, we had sent... That was one of the first places that 1SFO DOD did. Or Delta Force. That was one of the first places they went to was Honduras. So that was in the early 80s. But yeah, because they were supposedly building up this communist sort of bloc in South America that we wanted to, and we did eliminate. Under the guise of the war on drugs with Manuel Noriega and all those guys, what they were trying to do was have some sort of communist-facing but drug-infused coalition. And so in the 80s, we just went over there and just wrecked shop. And so it was all...
And why did we do that? Why did we care?
Well, we didn't want communism in the South American border. You had communism in South America, and then you had Cuba over there.
Okay, I forgot the communism part.
Strategically
Okay.
speaking, it was still going back to roots of, being afraid of the Russians. But yeah, we successfully pretty much destroyed the South American states in the 80s. So, but anyway, very, very interesting.
I'm going to give this song an 8.8.
The Honduras thing is a reference to a writer Zevon was aware of, who went to Honduras to hide away from the U.S. law enforcement since they didn't have an extradition treaty. There you are. There you are.
What do you give
This is 8.5 for me. I wish he would have told the real story. The real story is so much fun. But again,
Sorry, Nick. I guess I shouldn't have read that to him.
But again, I don't know if that's even the real story, because this
Yeah,
guy
I know,
is
because-
the kind of guy to me that would just make shit up, I think.
Yeah.
Like he strikes me as that type of guy. Okay, what'd you give it?
I gave it an 8.8.
8.8.
Lawyers, guns, and money.
Warren
All right.
Zevon, ladies
Up
and gentlemen.
next is
I
Muhammad's
wish
Radio.
I wish also we would have used his picture, his album picture, as the stream title. 'Cause
Oh.
it's like really like threatening almost.
Oh, really?
After hearing the first song, yeah. If you go back to his picture on Genius,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those like, how the fuck did you not know that guy was going to be a serial killer?
Okay, yeah, and I just so any of our other viewers, if they're curious, 71% of our community said yes, they would feel it was an insult if you said that they were ignorant. They wouldn't look at it as you were just saying they lacked knowledge. 29% said if you called them ignorant, they would understand that you meant they lacked knowledge. The poll has ended.
Right, so that just means that 70% of our constituency doesn't understand how English works or is ignorant of the English language.
And I'm just saying that the majority of people out there are in that situation.
No, all they did was tell us how they felt. Not what the word means.
No, I know. Thing. I totally know that. But I'm just saying, when you say that to somebody, they, like, you said that to somebody, and I like, followed out back, and I was like, just so you know, that means you're lacking knowledge. It doesn't, he's not insulting you. It's just, that's just a fact. You're lacking knowledge.
And they felt better after you told them that? Yeah.
Because ignorant just sounds like, you know what? Forget about it, babe. Yeah, call people ignorant. Go ahead.
Will's got the spirit. 70% are ignorant to the definition of ignorant. Irony. I agree. Okay,
Will, I'm now blocking you. I'm just kidding.
That's what they do. That's what they do. That's why they remain ignorant.
Oh, and Ian is offended that you called him ignorant of what ignorant means.
Huh?
Ian, I'm offended that you called me ignorant of what ignorant means. The 70% are ignorant of being ignorant. That's ignorant.
That's ignorant. I'm trying to help. Okay, so I'll just say jahil. I'll just say you're jahil. You're in jahiliya. And then that'll be fine. Speaking of which, is Muhammad's radio next?
Exactly, Delaney. I understand what ignorant means. I just know people would take ignorant as being called stupid. Right. All right, up next is Muhammad's radio.
Good. So all you jahil people coming up. We'll talk about Muhammad's radio next,
and we'll talk about...
I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Barber.
Oh, you look so...
I've been caught. I was watching Facebook shorts of a fight in Walmart. All right, baby, you coming? Buy our merch, everyone. Buy our merch. Okay, up next is Warren Zevon, Muhammad's radio. Well, I guess we'll just wait for Vinny to come back. In the meantime, I'll chit-chat with you guys. Delaney, drink some water. Maybe you're thirsty. Eric, my dad always called me ignorant, and he was definitely putting me down. Yeah, I mean, geez. I know, Eric. I don't know. There does seem to be a lot of commotion there. Whoa. Oh, okay, negative vibes. I'm like, you guys already figured out the playlist? All right. I hope I sent you guys enough, like, variation. Oh, I forgot to tell you. One of the alliances.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure it was A99. Is, they're gonna pick songs that would be, like, for, Sori picks. So they had me send them some of my favorite songs.
Oh, God.
They said they wanted to know, like, what's the R&B? That's plenty to work with. Oh, okay. All right, cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sending the list as well.
That's good.
Hey, how about you pass me one of those? Is this hard for you to sacrifice one of your candies for me?
Holy shit, the kids are going back to school already? Third day of school already? Holy shit. Alright. Sounds like a plan.
I don't remember, Eric, what was my reaction?
Alright, you ready? Muhammad's Radio.
No. I have to read. I just put this candy in my mouth. Oh, it's short. This song is basically a socio-political commentary with some of Zevon's trademark mordant irony. It's still relevant to this day. What does mordant mean?
What? I don't know.
Like morbid?
Maybe. I'm ignorant as to what mordant means. Google it.
You're ignorant.
Ready?
Vin is ignorant!
Ready?
Ready.
Okay. Muhammad's Radio. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Alright guys, let's do it. Muhammad's Radio, go!
Everybody's restless and they got no place to go. Someone's always trying to tell them something they already know.
Because they're not ignorant.
So their anger and resentment flow. But don't it make you wanna rock and roll all night long? Mohammed's Radio. I heard somebody singing sweet and soulful on the radio. Mohammed's Radio. You know the sheriff's got his problems too. He will surely take them out on you. In walks the village idiot and his face is all aglow. He's been up all night listening to Mohammed's Radio. Don't it make you wanna rock and roll all night long? Mohammed's Radio. I heard somebody singing sweet and soulful on the radio. Mohammed's Radio. Everybody's desperate, trying to make ends meet. Work all day, still can't pay the price of gasoline and me. Alas, their lives are incomplete. Don't it make you wanna rock and roll
Still
all
relevant.
night long? Mohammed's Radio. I heard somebody singing sweet and soulful on the radio. Mohammed's Radio. You've been up all night listening for his drum. Up all night. Hoping that the righteous might just come. Just be right. I heard the general whispering to his aide-de-camp. Be watchful for Mohammed's lamb.
Women's Radio.
What a chill song.
Very chill song.
But they were talking about real shit, and this, he's right. That's still very relevant, especially friggin' verse.
The sheriff.
Well, that's interesting.
The sheriff's got his problems too. He'll surely take them out on you.
I can see why you would pick that out, and I could see why I would pick out the one that I did.
What'd
Everybody's
you
desperate, trying to make ends meet. Work all day, still can't pay the price of gasoline and meat. Alas, their lives are incomplete. I gassed up our vehicle with $70.
Yeah.
This is insane. But yeah, I can see what I've never been on the receiving end of the sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
Neither
like
have I.
No, but like
sheriff is on the receiving
if
end of
the
my bad attitude,
sheriffs,
though.
yeah, it's true. If the sheriffs typically went after women, I would probably feel that way.
They do typically go after women.
What do you mean?
At home.
Yeah,
Law enforcement has the highest.
Yep.
Per
yes,
capita
but you know what
domestic,
I mean.
Domestic violence. That's how I took it. I didn't take it as a racial thing. I took it as a when he gets home, he beats the hell out of his wife thing because that's what they do. It's so funny because they use the same excuse in the different contexts. So if they abuse a suspect at work, it's because, well, you know, I'm a human being and I have problems at home, you know, like problems at home, and you know, blah. Then they go home and beat the hell out of their wife. Well, you know, the job is so stressful, blah blah blah. There's always a reason for those guys.
I guess they're just excitable men.
Yeah, they're just yeah. So like they all like, you know, the sheriff, he's just a regular dude with problems, but he's got this immunity now. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. I just took domestic violence and substance abuse. You know, I just think that the whole Uvalde thing, I don't think we realize, like, psychologically the effect that the Uvalde thing had on the minds of Americans. It definitely, like, that whole situation impacted me so much that I wouldn't say changed my position, but surrendered a position that I've been fighting for I don't know, maybe the last 5-6 years. Like,
what?
It was
what?
massively paradigm shifting.
Really?
Yeah. So
are you gonna say? Or?
No, I'm not gonna say.
Oh,
because as I said, like, I've been supporting this particular position, and I still believe principally it's right, but as a person, that whole thing, man, that just crossed the line for me. That's definitely
yeah.
Because it really highlighted the stereotype about you guys is 100,000% true. And I knew that the reason that they were killing us, particularly black males, is because they're afraid. And they're terrified, and they understand the physical ramifications if shit ever really got kinetic. Most of the time they understand. And so I understand the fear mechanism, but to just see it in such clear relief, and then to see other law enforcement people try to defend them and say things like, well, he didn't have the right shield, or the stack wasn't... It's like, I was talking to a family member of mine. It's like, you know, nobody wants to be the meat shield when you're on a stack, which is the first guy. Whether you're kitted out with a shield or not, like, that's your job.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But this person is very, very highly trained individual, and you know, he's a you know, they're a different kind of law enforcement person. You know what I'm saying? But, and thank you and he's in, you know, his crew is not very popular with the right wing right now. So they just had somebody attack their thing yesterday. Thank you very much, Fox News. But yeah, obviously that line stuck out to me because of the, you know, and to Emily's point, it was kids, man. It was kids, bro. Like, that was the thing. Like, you stayed, you know, and I defended them at the beginning. I didn't believe that they did that. You could see in, like, Middle America episodes, I was telling people, like, we got to sit on this. We got to wait. I was like, there's no way that 8 cops stood there and heard those kids getting shut up. I was like, that didn't happen. And like, even though people were like, no, Finn, it's right there. I'm like, no, just wait. Because I was like, there's no way that that's how it went down. And then they released a video. And then the video said, audio muted to prevent distress or whatever. And I haven't seen that video. I never will see it. Once I read that, that's when it finally hit me. Like, nah, bro, that's exactly what the fuck happened. Like, that's exactly what happened. Like, it was worse actually than what I thought. So once I saw that line, I didn't even click because, like I said, we don't need to re-traumatize ourselves all the time. Ugh. And make no mistake, if you saw that video, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, if you saw that video, you're traumatized now. You're a traumatized person because most of us are not sociopaths. So you watch that stuff. I'm not saying it to condemn you. I'm saying it like we got to be careful because the people at the top know that graphic imagery and seeing the story play out in real time is a morbid curiosity that's native to our nature. But they don't care about the after effects of what that's going to do to you psychologically when you have to get up and go to work the next day. So these people, they're in an attention economy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna push, especially in areas without FCC regulations like YouTube and things of that nature. They're gonna push because they're gonna want to differentiate themselves. So the imagery is only gonna get worse, and so like feeding yourself on that imagery, I think, is really deleterious to your mental health. And I'm pleading with you, like, we need to know what's going on in our country, but we don't need to know the intimate details of how people died and the way people died and all that shit. We don't need to know that. We just don't. You know what I'm saying? And that's why other topics come up. My policy currently is I'm not going to show any imagery. No matter how impactful the imagery would be on the particular thing that I'm arguing for. I'm not doing it because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to traumatize people to get people to do the right thing. But I'm very, very much worried about the psychological contagion of us always watching this stuff. And some of the song is kind of about media to the degree that Muhammad's radio, is a media outlet.
Yeah, that was odd because Muhammad's radio... What would that be? Like, why would they call it Muhammad? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, because they can't even have instruments. They can only have singing. But then it says Muhammad's radio. I heard someone singing sweet and soulful. They can do that.
What do you mean by that?
Muslims.
So you took Muhammad's radio to be about Muslims?
I thought it was a weird name to name a radio, yeah.
But don't it make you want to rock and roll all night long? Muhammad's radio. I heard somebody singing sweet and soulful on the radio. Muhammad's radio. Maybe it's not Muhammad's radio station. Maybe it's...
Oh, Muhammad's radio.
Maybe
like
he has a friend named Muhammad, and it's his radio.
Yeah.
And so he's the only one in the
yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so then verse 3. Don't it make you want to rock and roll all night long, Muhammad's radio. I heard somebody singing sweet and soulful on the radio. Everybody's desperate trying to make ends meet, work all day, still can't pay the price of gasoline and meat. Alas, their lives are incomplete. That's an interesting line because if you look at this little stanza right here, people trying to pay for gasoline and meat, and then he says, alas, their lives are incomplete. Mm-hmm. That to me seemed like a little bit like sarcastic. Like, oh, your life is incomplete because you can't have gasoline and meat. Because in the grand scheme of things, the vast majority of the world doesn't have gasoline and meat. So, like, what are you really complaining about? You know, like when people talk about, like, first world problems?
Yeah.
Like, what are you complaining about? Like, the vast majority of the world for the vast majority of human history got around on foot. They did just fine. Most people don't eat meat regularly. This is a relatively new phenomenon that common people could eat meat consistently on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What's your problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, your life was so incomplete. Like, you have a real problem. And I tend to, I mean, you know me, I tend to agree with that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But most people don't. Like, most people think that Go ahead. You're different, or
yeah.
not?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm different. I think that, like, the way that things are right now with groceries and gas and stuff like that, it's very frustrating. It feels stressful. You know, you go to the store and the stuff that you were getting before costs you almost half as much. I just think it's crazy. And I think that, you know, like, I'm very grateful for our YouTube channel because it's not like we can't buy food, you know what I mean? We can buy food, but like I'm looking at some people and I'm thinking, how are they even able to afford between the gas for that big honking vehicle that they have and then buying the stuff at the grocery store? Like, it's a lot. And then if you have to commute to work, like, I don't know, like, that's just, it's frustrating, it's stressful. And I think, but I do think that, you know, I was thinking of, Paul said something interesting. He said that he had learned how to be content with much and with little. And I was, you know, I was trying to, like, think through how did that work? Mm-hmm. Like, because I used to think that he just, like, convinced his head that it was not that bad. But I don't think that's the case anymore. But they don't have the full answer. I spent some time thinking about it and I didn't come to a conclusion. I guess that'll be more thoughts for a later date. But yeah, I just think that, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for people.
Yeah, and, you know, as Emily says, why didn't they go in the ultimate question, fear or perhaps in order not to? I mean, both of those are rooted in fear to me.
Yeah.
And I have no,
Yeah.
There's nothing anyone can say to me.
Yeah, because if you were a parent and you were on the outside of that door, there's
was
nothing.
One. There was one.
What?
There was one. There was a parent there. He was strapped up, and they stopped him.
And his child was in there?
And his child was in there getting shot.
And he didn't go in?
He stopped. You see it on video. Supposedly, that's what it said in the article. Like I said, I refused to watch the video, so I didn't see it in the video. But they said he could have been seen. He had his weapon drawn, and
I don't
then
understand that.
2 other cops like held him back. All the rest of it, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, that shit is crazy. And
honestly,
I'm telling people, don't look at graphic stuff because it'll traumatize you. Somebody mentions Jonestown. Now, Delaney's 14 years old. She doesn't know about Jonestown. Everybody drank the Kool-Aid. So then she goes and Googles it. Oh. And then she goes, that's a bunch of dead people I just saw. Damn it, Delaney! Like, I specifically had that point for you because your little mind is 14. You didn't need to see all that shit. Just don't do it!
Okay, I might be, you know, like you always say, people do something different when they're actually in the situation. I'm picturing if little Orion was inside that classroom and I was outside that door, I would shoot anybody holding me back from getting in there.
100%.
So don't fucking get in my way.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, they handcuff parents and all that shit.
It's so frustrating.
They handcuffed the parents.
Why would they do that?
While the parents were trying to go in and whatever. Just terrible, terrible, terrible shit. Yeah, so the song is pretty crazy.
Why would they do that?
Because they were, I mean, honestly, the most cynical way I can look at it is they were a bunch of cowards. They knew that they were terrorized into submission to this kid, and the parents were a safe way for them to reassert control. So instead of like trying to handcuff the guy that's brutally murdering the kids, they wanted to handcuff the parents because, you know, they had the vested authority.
I cannot tell you how angry that makes me.
I know. These people are they're horrible people. So this song, unfortunately, when you talk about law enforcement, when you talk about the economy, but also at the same time the centrality of how important music is. Like, that's one of the constants that I always miss when I look back at social commentary. I'm like, yo, that song is just as relevant today as is. But what's cool about this song is you hear terrible news and such on the radio, especially way back in the day, like in the 70s. Obviously, you would get your news from the radio probably just as much as you did on TV. But you also got music from the radio. You know, and now that's kind of how YouTube functions. It's like YouTube combines the radio and the TV into one service, so that the same sort of medium that you're getting the updates on this horrible fucked upness of human nature also contains one of the few survival mechanisms that we have, you know, evolved to figure out, or God has blessed us with, which is music. So the music is still soulful, because you take that stress about the gas, or the not being able to feed your family, or the bad interview with the sheriff, or whatever it is, and you can funnel that pain into your music, and then it provides some solace. So even though you're singing about the horrible thing, at least you're not just talking about it, which I think is brilliant. So on the one hand, it's a gut punch, because it's like, damn, we're still talking about the same shit. But on the other hand, it's an encouragement to say, hey, we still have music. And and this sounds corny, but as long as we have music, we're in good shape. Because honestly, biblically speaking, that's one of the things that when your city's really fucked up, that's one of the things. The music goes away. As a matter of fact, in Jeremiah, God is weeping over the Moabites, I think, because they no longer have any music. Like, the guitar is no longer played in the streets. And so God is mourning over the Moabites. They're an evil group of people.
Rezdog, I was looking at that too. I don't know.
You know that your country's in a lot of trouble. When the music goes away, you're in trouble. So, I really like the song. It sounded very simple. It appeared simple, but it really, if you really think about it, was a deep song. This one is a 9.5 for me. My favorite song of the day so far.
9.2 for me. Wow, what a frustrating thing.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 9.2. That's literally probably the most frustrating thing I've heard in a very long time.
Roland the Headlines Thompson Gunner? Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner is next. Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner is next. We will continue. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village. Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch indeed. The child shall lead them to buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
All right. Up next on our Warren Zevon stream, we have Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. And the big homie DJ Nick has said to us, this song is basically... Wait a minute. Sorry. This song came about when Warren lived in Spain. for a brief period of time. While there, he met David Lindell, a bartender and former mercenary in Africa. His interest in the darker side of life led Zevon to collaborate with Lindell on this song about a mercenary. Fun fact, 2 characters in The Lost World, Jurassic Park, are named after the 2 main characters in this song. Really?
All right. This should be interesting. Here we go, guys. Warren Zevon, Roland the Headless, Thompson Gunner. Let's do it! Ugh.
What?
You don't see it?
Does he have no head?
He was a warrior from the land of the midnight sun, with a Thompson gun for hire, fighting to be done. The deal was made in Denmark on a dark and stormy day, so he set out for Biafra to join the bloody fray. Through 66 and 7, they fought the Congo War, with their fingers on their triggers, knee deep in gore. Days and nights they battled the Bantu to their knees. They killed to earn their living and to help out the Congolese. Roland the Thompson gunner, Roland the Thompson gunner. His comrades fought beside him, Van Owen and the rest, but of all the Thompson gunners, Roland was the best. So the C.I.A. decided they wanted Roland dead. That son of a bitch Van Owen blew off Roland's head. Roland the Headless Thompson gunner, Norway's bravest sons of the score. They can still see his headless body stalking through the night in the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. In the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. Roland searched the continent for the man who done him in. He found him in Mombasa, in a ballroom drinking gin. Roland aimed his Thompson gun, he didn't say a word, but he blew Van Owen's body from there to Johannesburg. Roland the Headless Thompson gunner, Roland the Headless Thompson gunner, Roland the Headless Thompson gunner. Talking about the man, Roland the Headless Thompson gunner. The eternal Thompson gunner, still wandering through the night. Now it's 10 years later, but it still keeps up the fight. In Ireland, in Lebanon, in Palestine, in Berkeley, Patty Hearst heard the birth of Roland's Thompson gun and body.
Wow.
I really like that song. I don't know what that style of music is. Like what?
Yeah,
What?
I don't know either.
Remember that Don Francisco guy?
Starting over.
Did we play?
Yeah.
Roland the Thompson Gunner. something, yeah. I really like that song. It's a very good song. It's very classic rock.
Oh, really? It sounds like it has like
That's what
some
that's
sort
called,
of
classic rock.
country feel to it as well.
I'm feeling that shit. Yeah,
Slightly
it feels like the
folksy.
old school country type shit.
Yeah.
Slightly folksy. Yeah, like Americana type folksy. This is an interesting story because. Okay, so Eric Haney was in one of the first, like, flagship groups in Delta, for Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta.
Okay.
Obviously, the selection course for Delta is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I would say the most difficult in the world. And so he was talking about going through selection in his book. Mm-hmm. This is all out in public. And he had a guy that was with him that made it pretty much up till the second to last round. And then I think he broke his leg or something like that. He had to roll out, whatever.
Okay.
Never saw him on the teams, never did anything. He got like years later, like now until let's say 84, 85, this guy gets an assignment to go fight in a South American country and take out this basically terrorist group.
Okay.
So his job was to go over there, get the locals organized so they could take on this guerrilla group.
Okay.
So he's getting all his intelligence from the Central Intelligence Agency, yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. So the night of the contact with this terrorist organization, he finds the leader. He finds a beat on the leader, and he tracks him and he sends a couple rounds, hit the guy in the belly. The guy had a teenager with him, and he hit the teenager too. So they're both on the ground trying to stuff their guts back into their
Oh my
bellies.
God.
And obviously they're expiring. He goes over there to dead check him, and he sees that the leader of this supposedly terrorist outfit was the guy that was with him all the way in selection. The guy that was his friend in selection that washed out like 2 weeks prior. That was the guy that was the leader. And they sent him specifically to go take that group out. So the guy literally died in his arms. And he said, that man was my brother, blah, blah, blah. And long story short, it was essentially the CIA sent him. He left the teams pretty close after that because he basically thought to himself, something went wrong here with the CIA, because as people don't realize, they do tons of things without any government. Like, they're a government unto themselves. Like, these are unelected, whatever. But long story short, Eric Haney's basically saying that the CIA used him to take out an asset that we decided we no longer wanted, because we've done that a million times, set up terrorist outfits. I mean, we were setting up terrorist outfits in Syria during the Arab Spring. That's a fact. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, this song is, like, mega ironic. Like, mega ironic, because he even said the CIA decided that they no longer needed this guy.
Oh.
So, there you go.
Jeez.
There you go. So it was very, like, weird looking at, and then, like, he's got the ghost of this mercenary that and he talks about. He's in Syria, he's in whatever, because
So do you think that there's any connection?
this was written in 1970. This song was written in 1978. Do I think there's any connection between that and
Danny. He just told a horrible story.
that and what Haney was talking about? Well, I mean, Haney, I'm not going to say. I just think that story is a verifiable story. You can check it out. I think it's Inside Delta Force, the last 3 chapters of the book. I haven't read the book in almost 15 years, but I'm pretty sure if you buy that book, Inside Delta Force with Eric Haney, you read the last 3 chapters. That's exactly what happened. But I really, really liked it because it's... my mom used to listen to this guy, Don Francisco, and he had that style. Like I played that Adam, Where Are You song or whatever. He just had that style.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just brings a certain kind of like mood to me. Like something serious is happening, but it's exciting and it's positive. Like that's what that like tone does. I don't know, but
it wasn't very positive.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't a positive song, but the template is probably really easy to enjoy. But people are saying like there's this guy named Jethro Tull, I guess, that does music like this. But
oh yeah,
have we done any Jethro Tull?
I think we have. Yeah, actually.
Is he country, Jethro Tull?
Kind of like this, like that sort of. I don't.
Folky.
I don't know if I wouldn't use the word folky, but. Whatever.
All right, what do you give the song?
This
is a 9.8 for me.
9.3. 9.3 for me.
Okay. All right.
Danny, you should have been here for the horrible story he just told. So. Anyway.
I really didn't think it was that horrible of a story, but okay.
They got shot in the belly and he's stuffing his guts back in.
I mean, that's war. That's what happens. But I mean, yeah.
Well,
I
I'm
hear
a
you.
civilian, and
I'm a civilian. It's a terrible story. All right, 9.8. We have more Roland Zevon coming up next, dear listener. We have more. Stay
I haven't
where you are.
traumatized myself as you have.
DJ Nick, Vincent, Soraya. We'll catch you very soon, losers. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone. DJ Nick, where are you, bro? Say hello. Say something. Where have you been? Text him.
I don't have his text. I just have his email.
Was it Nicholas? Nicholas? Yep. Nicholas? There it is. 8.6. This is the last thing you texted. Got something in my throat. Okay, guys. We shall return. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch indeed, and a child shall lead them. All right. Keep Me in Your Heart is next. As soon as my partner in crime makes it back here. Oh, there's Nick. What the heck, Nick? Where were you? We're like, he disappeared. He just left us with all these creepy songs. Okay, honey. Vin. Oh well, I'll just chat with you guys then while I'm waiting. Let me get back to the chat. Yes, so, Res Dog, why did you change your name? Oh, I want to know how many. Let me see. Okay, I'm on the bigger one right now. So let me put this poll. How many have heard of Zevon before this stream? Nope. First time. Okay, I want to know. You know what, Ian? I don't know what music Vinny has playing in the background. He's the one that kind of sets that all up. What's up, Johnny Melancholy? Oh, he passed away? Zevon did? This is the last song he performed in front of an audience. Oh, really? What happened to him? Eric, Jethro Tull song with the homeless guy looking at the frilly panties running and eyeing girls with bad intent. Sorry, wasn't happy with that one. I'm sure I wasn't. Oh, okay, Ian, I'll tell him that you're looking for that. Sorry, these last two songs have really given me a song I know y'all gotta do. Student Visas by Corb Lund. It's got a similar lyrical theme to the last one, but much darker.
Is
So
Nick back?
apparently,
Where's Nick?
that's fine, Danny. Yeah,
That's Nick?
he's back.
Where was he?
I don't know. He didn't answer the question.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently Nick said that this is the last song that he played in public before he passed away.
Oh, he died?
Apparently.
Ah. I hate when that
Oh
happens.
yeah, Danny, I saw your video. I checked it out. I responded to you actually. I wanted to know how you got some of those like little cartoony things in your video, what you were using. Ian?
Who made a video?
Excuse me. Danny shot a video for how to use Discord, and he put us in there. Give us a little shout out in there.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I thought I sent you the link, but
You
perhaps I
never
didn't.
did. You never do.
Well, no, I do. I send you stuff, but I know if you get too much stuff, then you're gonna lose it all.
I'm gonna lose it all.
Nick got lost in a phone call. Okay, so he
happened?
loved the piano, but he picked up the guitar to get girls. That's so funny.
Well, I mean,
I could see why that would. I think there's probably a lot more girls that are like, ooh, a guitar playing man,
yeah.
than a piano playing one.
That guy's so hot. Look at him play that.
Look at the way his fingers just go across that keyboard.
That's a smart name, Jake Mistake Roberts. I see what you did there.
Honey, Ian wants to know what the background music is.
The name of the background music is Instrumental Royalty Free Remember by Kaizen Blue. Remember by Kaizen Blue, living in France. Okay, guys, here we go. Let's do it.
Wait.
Werewolves of...
We have Keep Me in Your Heart. This song is the last song on Warren Zevon's last record called The Wind. Warren got diagnosed with
mesothelioma.
no, that word first, the P word.
Oh, plural. Plural
A cancer of the
mesothelioma.
lining of the lungs
Ugh.
in 2002, which eventually became terminal due to being inoperable. He then decided to write and record one last album with the time he had left, passing away just 2 weeks after the album's release in 2003. This particular song is his swan song, his farewell to life, and thank you to all of his fans. The album and song received 5 Grammy nominations, winning 2 of them. This song always makes me cry every time I hear it. Keep Me in Your Heart. Wow.
Jeez.
Okay.
All right, keep me in your heart. Asbestos killed him. Unbelievable.
It was asbestos?
Yeah, that's what Middle Earth is saying, and Middle Earth is usually on his shit.
Wow. Okay.
All right, Keep Me in Your Heart from Warren Zevon. I'm glad we have another song after this, so it doesn't end on a sad note.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, DJ Nick. I appreciate it.
Although, what if he makes the next one even sadder?
It
And
won't.
He's like, there.
There's no way.
Fuck both of you.
There's no way. There's no way. Thank you, DJ Nick, for taking care of us emotionally. Let's do this shit. Warren Zevon, Keep Me in Your Heart. Let's go.
Shadows are falling and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean I love you any less. Keep me in your heart for a while. When you get up in the morning and you see that crazy sun, keep me in your heart for a while. There's a train leaving nightly called when all is said and done. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you'll think of me and smile. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while. Hold me in your thoughts, take me to your dreams, touch me as I fall into view. And when the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I will be right next to you. Engine drivers headed north to Pleasant Stream. Keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep turning, but they're running out of steam. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Keep me in your heart for a while. Keep me in your heart for a while.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was
Was this the last song he ever...
This is the last one
Bro,
he
he ever
performed
did?
before an audience, and also this is his farewell song. The album and the song received 5 Grammy nominations, winning 2 of them. Wow. So that's a sad
last
one.
on David Letterman? He did that was his last show on David Letterman?
I don't know.
Go ahead. What were you thinking?
Well, this is... See, we never get to talk about stuff like this because you always say, I don't want to talk about that. But now we have to.
What are you talking about?
This song was just sad, like, obviously when you're thinking, you know, if you lose somebody that's really close or whatever, when he says, when you get up in the morning and you see the crazy sun, keep me in your heart for a while. Mm-hmm. For me, it would be the moon, if I saw the moon and you weren't with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
What about it?
It would just be really difficult because I've never been a fan of dusk or night, but you make both of those seem inviting. But if you weren't around, then they would be sad again.
Why do you like talking about shit like that?
It's not that I like talking about it. It's just that for some reason it makes me feel better knowing that you know that information. And my family was weird. Like, they always talked about death. I don't know why we did that. So, you know, it's like normal. Yeah, so that was... Ugh. I don't know. You know, we're watching that show. It made me think of the show, like, because the woman
Sandman.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted
Death.
to say. Yeah, you know, she lost her person, and now, like, when she's dreaming, she goes to him.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just sad. This is a sad song. And it's sad knowing, like, that he was writing. Well, it was weird because what, like, I would start feeling really sad, and then I'd be like, yeah, but this guy was really kind of crazy, I think. Like, he came up with that song, and I don't know why he came up with that song. Like of all the stuff that I would come up to write about, like, that would never enter into my mind to write a song about that happening to somebody. So then I'm like, wait, what was going on with you? And then Jake came in with this crazy interpretation. Nick's like, don't even go there because it's like wrecking the holiness of the song, you know, because it's this guy's last, you know. But the idea that there's something after this one and that in the end we'll all end up back together, like, I don't know. When you look from that lens, it's like, okay, well, he's there, but we're all gonna...
Yeah, it's... For me, the way I'm looking at things now is that all of us are in the exact same place. So, like, you know, I don't think people like Anne Heche just died. She just left this sphere of consciousness. So, like I was listening to Joe Rogan, had one of the DMT guys on there, and he's actually saying that actually, not that serotonin is the major chemical in the brain or whatever that affects mood, that it's actually DMT, and that people that we call schizophrenic or crazy just have a higher concentration of DMT, so that makes it so they can hear it makes them, it tunes their brain, which in this theory would be an antenna to pick up that frequency because he's got more DMT in his
Wow. Okay.
And so then it becomes, we're sitting here looking at him saying, oh, he's hearing voices, which is, you know, whatever. Okay, you might be crazy. But when we say the person is hearing voices that aren't there, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean they're not there? That's a directional statement. What if there are other dimensions and they're able to communicate cross-dimensionally because this person has...
That's going to be crazy if it turns out to be like that.
Right.
Because those people lived, like, under such suspicion and...
Right. So if you just look at the reality or consciousness as a series of filters that help you engage with one realm over and against another. Mm-hmm. So let's say there are like 19 dimensions, right? And that we're just, you know, our filter shuts off after dimension 3. So if a person dies then 1 through 3 gets shut off, but then you could see 4 through 19. But you wouldn't be going anywhere. You're aware more now of these different dimensions and then the beings within those dimensions, right? So you're not going anywhere. You're still here in a sense. It's just
but we
that
can't hear them and they can't hear us.
Right, because how would you communicate that chasm? Well, Jesus says there's a chasm between the worlds, right? That you can't go over there, they can't come over here. But scientifically speaking, it would just be if what we call consciousness is just you being aware of the particular dimensions that you're able to, partake in. So you're in 1 through 3. When a person dies, 1 through 3 gets shut off, but then you have 4 through 19. And you're now aware of that. You're no longer aware of 1 through 3, and 1 through 3 can't get to you because of the dimensional barrier there. And so from that perspective, then our friends really don't leave us because you have a physicalist mindset. We're always thinking about people going to heaven or going to hell instead of everybody's in the exact same place they've always been. It's just your awareness now is either being heightened or and so when heaven and earth come together, it just means that 1 through 3 and 4 through 19 are no longer going to have a barrier, that we're all going to be able to be aware of the same things. So anyway,
do you think that people because obviously us who are left, we're sad because we miss them, do you think that they're sad they can't get to us, or do you think that they're like, oh, maybe they have a different understanding of time, so they're like, Meh.
I think the knowledge that you get is similar to the knowledge that you get when you're a parent, and then you say, that's why my parents did what they did, or that's why my parents were the way they were. And so then it makes those issues that you have with your parents where you can finally have that sense of peace because you know why it happened. So I think that's what happens when you get that, when you move on to that extra dimensional awareness. I think there are certain things that just fall into place, one of which would be the fact that time is a fiction. And so you wouldn't really have the time to be sad about your missing loved ones because you know that you're about to see them very soon, because time is an experiential fiction. Whereas when you're on this side of the divide, we're still stuck in time, so we're still experiencing time. Whereas over there, you would probably realize that if you willed it, you could will yourself into the future and then be with your lost loved one, because time would be a dimension that you could manipulate, just like we can manipulate the physical world right now. So we would just be able to say, well, if I wanted to see them, I'll just fast forward to that part of the timeline where we meet each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of reasons I don't think that the people on that side are sad for us, because I think the more revelation you have, the more you realize that no, these things had to happen exactly the way that they happened. And now that you're on the other side, you will know that definitively. You don't have faith anymore, you have knowledge. So when you have that knowledge, I think it becomes a lot less, you have a lot less things to even be sad about in the first place. So that's how I look at it.
That's interesting.
I was very sad before I was born, and I'm still very sad.
No, what?
That's an interesting point, Delaney. And I'm going to think about that. Because I'm not sure that you're wrong. That's very interesting. And I might probably relate to that very well, but I don't think I've ever said that out loud publicly. Very interesting. Okay, what did you get this song?
Boy, I'm debating on giving this one a 10.
This is easily a 10 for me. And as Danny Lee says, like a picture in 2D and it doesn't know 3D. So if there are beings who live in 4D, then in turn we would not be aware of them. Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, if you die, because
But you don't think they can hear you. You said you don't think they can hear you.
I don't think that they could hear me, like fourth dimensional beings.
Somebody dies. You don't think they can hear you anymore.
Well, I remember when Jim died, I told Jesus to tell Jim X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
what about-
So in that sense, I think they can hear you.
What about when people say...
What's up, Emily?
Like... I still feel them here.
Well, that would make sense to my theory, because like I said, they don't leave. It's just our awareness of their being doesn't span dimensions at this point, because we're still stuck in only 4 dimensions, right? Length, height, width, and time. So if you have a 5th dimensional being or a 6th dimensional being, we would not be aware of their existence, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily unaware of ours. And the other thing is as I said, we project separate physical bodies so that we could differentiate consciousnesses. Because if you didn't have a physical body, I wouldn't be able to differentiate. It's a lot easier for me to do that and say, okay, that's the one that I'm most interested in. That one, not so much, right? Mm-hmm. So, but if you're out of a dimension where you need that physical sort of template to make that work, then the degree of knowing a person or being with a person changes completely.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things about that from a scientific perspective make a lot of sense and explain things. But like I said, we're still stuck in a physicalist mindset. So we have to physicalize the process of death and the process of communication and communing with people. We have to physicalize it because that's all we currently know in this area of this realm that we're exposed to.
All right, DJ Nick gives this one a silent count. Totally understand where you're coming from with that one. All right, so 10s for both of us. And next song is Werewolves of London.
I definitely see why there'd be a silent count if you were like emotionally attached to this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said, I get it.
That says that's pretty deep. Math says there are up to 26 dimensions currently. Right. And I think as we get exposed to more, we're probably going to discover that there are infinite dimensions, because what we're calling dimensions are just endogenous exercises of the mind of God, and since God's mind is infinite, then the dimensions would be infinite. But we have to wait for the math to catch up to that theorem. Okay, guys, we have one more song, and inshallah will not be a depressing song. Let's check it out very, very soon. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Werewolves gets into your head and stays there forever. Why is he saying that about werewolves? Oh, that's
the name
why.
of the song.
Werewolves of London. Werewolves of London. All right, guys, let's check it out. Commercial break. DJ Nick in the house. It's Friday. That's Nick Day, ladies and gentlemen. You know the deal. Let's go. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch. Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them. Still waiting for the homie to show up. I'm gonna hang out then. Jake, whose hair was perfect? All right. Oh, okay. So what do we have? Actually, we're almost a 50-50 split. I mean, we're not completely, but 58% of the people on the stream have said that they've heard of Zevon before. 42% said that they never did. I'm going to leave the poll going. Oh no, Kid Rock stole the melody of this song and Sweet Home Alabama for his song All Summer Long. Wow. Thanks, Emily, for your love of our reactions. You think that we reacted to what song, Rez? Oh, you guys think that we've heard this song before, or at least Vin has? Which one? The werewolf one or the one we just heard? Yes, Rez Dog, I know that you abandoned me. You ditched me. You went for Vinny now. I see. Oh, the werewolf one? Oh, I'll be interested to see if he knows. If he's heard it before. I'm sure I haven't. Oh, it's a simple song? Maybe I'll recognize it. I doubt it, though. I barely recognize those things. Did you find what you were looking for?
No.
Do you want me to look?
Nope.
Okay, then please sit down. All right. A lot of people are saying they think you're going to recognize this song, or at least the piano part of it.
This song? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it.
All right, Werewolves of London. To end things on a happier note, this is Warren Zevon, most well-known song, peaking at number 21 on the Billboard charts. This song can be found on pretty much any Halloween playlist. This song came about as a joke after Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers had just watched the 1935 horror film Werewolf of London and suggested to Zevon to write a catchy song based on it and that people would dance along with it. So Zevon and a couple of session musicians wrote the song in 15 minutes.
Okay, here we go.
However, the song got put aside until 2 years later when it was chosen to be the lead single of Zevon's second album. Containing an earworm of a chorus, once you hear it, this song, you never forget it.
Oh boy. Earworm of a chorus. Well, we will be the judges of that!
Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon.
It is our job to be the judges of that.
Yes.
Warren
Yes.
Zevon.
Let's go.
Werewolves of London. It's Friday, also known as DJ Nick Day. Let's do this shit. Go.
Hey, I've heard this. Definitely heard this part.
I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fooks, gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo.
That's the chorus?
Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. You hear him howling around your kitchen door. You better not let him in. Little old lady got mutilated late last night. Werewolves of London again. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo.
That is gonna stay in my head. That is gonna stay in my head. I've heard this before.
Werewolves of London. Ahoo. He's the hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. Well, I saw Lon Chaney walking with the Queen, doing the Werewolves of London. I saw Lon Chaney Jr. walking with the Queen, doing the Werewolves of London. I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect. Werewolves of London. Draw blood. Werewolves of London.
Okay. I love the way that thing is walking,
I knew it.
because it reminds me of that Elizabeth Warren meme. Remember that meme with her long legs? She was walking.
Babe.
that thing didn't remind you of that?
I don't remember it. It was just funny, like, picturing it. And I was just glad you didn't say it reminds you of your wife.
No. That walk that Elizabeth Warren had. Like, it was a little bit scary.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Oh,
all right,
man.
fuck you
Oh,
all.
man.
I thought it was
All right. Okay, I've definitely heard that sound before, but I don't think these were the lyrics that went with it.
Werewolves of
What I
London.
heard. I'm not sure if I saw some sort of a remix of it or something. Because the lyrics, I don't remember that at all. But maybe it was. Maybe.
Yeah, people were saying, like, yo, that course is gonna stay in your brain, and it's really a horrible thing. It should be a violation of the Geneva Convention, because you can't not.
I know.
That it's Werewolves of London. It's like, what the fuck?
15 minutes, and it made 21 on the charts.
Yeah, here I'm spending hours and hours and hours grinding literal blood, sweat, and tears trying to perfect this chord, this song. 15 minutes. 15 minutes is all it takes. I
think you're right. It isn't Sweet Home Alabama.
That COVID song would have got us to the top of the charts.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yes, you're right. I think that's where I've heard it. So I never heard this song, but I have heard Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay, what did you think of this song, though? Did you enjoy the song?
Yeah, it was fun. It also had a curious feel to it because I was like, where have I heard this before?
Yeah, where did you hear that song? They let you hear that
Sweet Home
song?
Alabama. If you listen to it, they have that same pattern in there. So it was
Okay.
familiar to me, but I've never heard this one before. Obviously, the song itself was where I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho, if that's how you say it, in the rain.
Yeah, Soho. That's
He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fox. I don't know. I feel like that's wrong. I don't know. I feel a little bit uncomfortable reading that. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Yeah. Werewolves in London. And then it got a little tragic. You know, there was an old lady that got mutilated by the werewolves.
Well, by the werewolf. It's different if it's mutilated by the werewolf, though, I will say.
Why?
Well, because the first girl got attacked by a human. You know what I'm saying? If it gets... You know, werewolf's gonna werewolf. You're not gonna be mad at the werewolf for beating up the
So
old
if it
lady.
said a black man got mutilated by the werewolf, you'd be fine?
Yeah, I wouldn't care. But the thing is, we would never get mutilated by a werewolf.
Here we go.
We would never get caught, and we would never venture into their lair and shit. Y'all would be like, well, we need to figure this shit out. I mean, what's going on with this lair? I mean, we hear about this freaking rabid animal ripping people apart. Let's go deeper into the dark fucking moist fucking cave. Yeah, we would never do that shit.
It's true. There are a lot of things that I see, like, there are certain things that I've seen, because I watch a lot of those shorts, And there's a lot of things that I see black people do that I'm like, there they go again.
Yeah, we'll just
And
not
then
do
there
it.
are other things that I see white people like I said, there they go
100% would never be done.
It's
Never
just-
be done. Never be done. Now, if you told niggas like, look, there's like a whole like treasure trove of cannabis, flowering cannabis things.
I thought you were gonna say women.
All you have to, yeah, is that some white bitches in down there too as well. There's some cannabis that's been guarded by
They might
it's
venture
being
in
guarded
there.
by a harem of white women in thongs. Then it'd be different.
Stop it!
And niggas would be like, oh, wait a second here.
I'm so surprised.
Then we would be consumed by the werewolf. But other than that, you're not gonna get black people to go in that situation.
Oh boy.
Werewolves of London. Ooh.
Vinny's getting weird. Okay. So then after that, he's the hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately, he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip out your lungs.
Rip out your lungs, Jim.
I'd like to meet his tailor. I don't get it. Oh, well, wait.
Because he's dressed very nice. He's dressed very nicely for a werewolf. Like the way that werewolf was walking, yo, was just mad funny, bro. Like, because it was just like mad old school, so simple. But I mean, this tells me that a song can get like this big. This tells me that, you know, human beings we're never gonna outgrow our sense of humor. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Amen.
A lot of serious shit in the world, and this guy, you know, doesn't have a problem with social commentary at all.
Right.
But it tells me, and the other thing it tells me is that it seems to me that people who are most aware of how horrible shit is are also the funniest people that we have. So that is also a very interesting contrast because, I think from an evolutionary perspective, you would have to grow both skills simultaneously to continue to live. To see things as jacked up as they are, you need to have a giant funny bone. Otherwise, you're going to jump off a bridge. So I do think that even though this is funny, we're all having a good time, and I'm not going to like bastardize the song by trying to make it deeper than it actually is. But it does tell me something about human beings, which is we like to laugh, and we also like to laugh at horrible shit because the werewolf is like consuming these people, but it kind of makes it okay because we know that it's just a werewolf and it's in a fantasy land, you know, type of thing. So he the song is funny and it's an earworm and all the rest of it, but it also is deeply meaningful to me as far as like the role of comedy and the people that we find funny and why we find them funny and how they develop that funny bone and all the rest of it. Like that's a very sophisticated set of ideas. Really, really sophisticated set of ideas if you think about it. Like the concept of humor from an evolutionary perspective, like how does that work toward replicating genes and survival?
I mean, I think it works.
Like, it works now because we know what jokes are, but can you imagine the first guy that told a joke?
Yeah, you know, when I went
You know what I'm saying? Like,
when I was in Latvia, they didn't do sarcasm there. So it was really weird, like, because all of a sudden you'd, like, throw out some sarcasm and people would be, like, looking at you like, what are you doing? And it's just different places, so I could see, if you're the first person making jokes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how did that dude even survive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, you would figure if you just go with the Darwinian narrative, like, you had a bunch of these, like, almost more beasts than human creatures, and then one guy just, like, pops a joke, says something that's not true, and he's laughing, and other people are like, where is the wildebeest? Oh, there is none? We're gonna fucking spear you, bro. Like, what? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's a very... Human beings are so fascinating. And the human mind is so fascinating. Like, if you just stop and say... If somebody were to stop and analyze laughter... Like, that is so crazy that we laugh. Like, it's unbelievable.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
If somebody sat back and really analyzed laughter and tried to figure out what was going on in the consciousnesses of the people that are doing that, like, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's
unbelievable to me.
And it's funny too because like when you see kids when they're first understanding like laughter. Like, okay, so Orion is 3. This is a little bit of a gross story. Orion is 3, Reza's 1.5. Both of them had done the dirty in their diaper. Both of them. I couldn't figure out which one it was. So I was like, Orion, come over here. Because they both were saying, I said, Orion, did you? He said, no. And then I asked Reza. Reza goes, he does like one of those. And then he says, no, Orion did. And so I changed Orion. Sure enough, Orion was dirty. So I changed him.
Oh, my gosh.
But it still didn't seem right in the room. And so I'm like, Reza, come over here. And then I went to change him. And I asked him again. I said, Reza, did you? And he said, no. And then when I went to change him, Orion comes over and he looks. He sees that he did. He goes, ha 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 ha. He starts laughing at him. But I was surprised that he understood, like, because he thought it was funny that Reza was trying to get out of it, but Reza was in the same situation as him. But, like, he's only 3. Like, that was, like, a little bit. But watching them, like, laughing about stuff is funny, and seeing, like, these tiny little humans and how like, nobody teaches them to laugh.
Yeah.
Like, but all of a sudden stuff just strikes them as funny when they're really little.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that humor...
It's weird.
Humor helps us in a lot of situations. Like, when I'm watching a movie that has a really tense situation, but there's a character that keeps it light, I always love those types of movies.
Comic relief. You know, Shakespeare
had that?
He always had that. Remember, like, in Macbeth, the guy that was drunk, he had that little monologue, and it was all this ironic stuff about him being drunk. And then,
I mean, probably...
Right after that, Duncan gets stabbed up and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, that level of humor, because when I'm...
What?
Babe, this is... I just feel like we're back to the ignorant conversation. Like, you're just a lot smarter, so
it's
like...
literally called comic relief.
Yes, I know, but when I'm watching Macbeth, I'm just trying to, like, really grasp the story the first time I hear it, because they're saying all kinds of phrases I've never heard before. I'm trying to understand what's happening. Now there's 3 witches, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to, like... I didn't pick up any humor in it. But I see. You're just as smart. We're just as smart. We're all on the same level. I get it. Anyway... I'm thinking more of like Guardians of the Galaxy.
If you were a common,
that level of comic relief, or Deadpool.
If you were a common person during Shakespeare's period,
yeah, I know, but I'm not.
It's comic relief.
I totally believe that.
And the other thing is, when we watched the movie, you laughed when that guy was doing his solo.
I did?
Yeah. So I don't know, like, why you're playing the, like, why you're being so weird. Like, you
I don't remember it, and I don't remember laughing
when you heard what the guy was saying. Because we had the closed captions on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I guess I'm not completely ignorant.
Weird. It's so weird.
I don't remember laughing at that. I don't remember thinking any of it was funny. Actually, no, you're right. I did find a couple parts funny. Strike that from the record.
Unbelievable.
All right, so...
It's so weird, bro.
I really liked this one. This is a 9.8 for me.
I'm giving it a solid 9. A solid 9 because of the humor. And I also like the video with the way that the guy was walking, because it reminded me of Elizabeth Warren. Shout out to DJ Nick. This was great, man. I would have never heard of this guy.
Let me end our pool. Our poll. Let's end the poll.
There's another poll?
Yeah, I said how many... Whoop. Here we go. How many have heard of Zevon before this stream? I have. 56% had, and 43% said they never heard of him before, first time.
There you go.
So DJ Nick introduced 43% of 46 people.
Of course, I didn't get to vote, so that would have probably put it up there.
That's true.
Like
we both
48%.
We both didn't vote.
So yeah, it's probably 50-50. I had no idea this person even existed on the planet Earth. Thank you very much, DJ freaking Nick. DJ Nick has been our DJ for like the last month of Fridays, I think. So
month? It's been longer than that.
Shout out to the big homie DJ Nick. You know the deal. We've got other DJ streams coming up very, very soon. We got a reggae stream coming up. We have other streams coming up. It's gonna be, we're multicultural in this bitch. Shout out to everybody. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your night. And look at this, DJ. We got to do it. Rest in peace, ears. Here we go. You guys know what's coming. You guys know what's coming. Anytime we have a super impactful DJ, it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You guys know it's coming. 5, 4. And another one, and another one. And another one, and another one. And another one.
Oh my God.
That's DJ Nick, everybody. I get to have friends. Having said that, dear listener, Vin out.
Sorry, out.
Go.
Pause for a second. Middle Earth, we have a stream on 8/16 at 8 p.m. Is that the reggae stream? Just for curiosity. I know it's you and Mojo, but he wants it exclusively on this channel. Middle Earth does.
I've read some jokes from the 17th century and I couldn't understand why people found it funny. There was literally a joke where women were reading poems. There's no context to the poem. Joke was women reading poetry.
Why? Because they weren't allowed to read?
Right.